Welcome to Retirement with Jim. So today, unplanned events. So before we get started, if you like my channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the like button, helps my channel grow. And leave comments. Love to hear from you. Love to know what your thoughts are. So let's get started. So unplanned events. So there are many things that happen that can really kind of change or possibly derail your retirement. So running out of money could be number one. It's a lot of it's on a lot of people's mind, and people think about, oh my God, do I have enough money? So I guess the real question becomes, if you are not with enough funds, or you feel you're not, are you willing to take on part-time work? Now, part-time work is of your choosing. So there are people who tell you that if you're doing part-time work, well, then you're not retired. And all I'm going to tell you is that is not necessarily the case. In many cases, people plan to retire, and as they do, they're going to include part-time work in that. It's a great way to stay active, stay busy, and most importantly, bring in more income. So, inflation. Inflation hurts everyone. And it's kind of an unplanned event because you just never know where inflation stands. It could be at a consistent all-time low and stay steady and we're all good. Or it could be like it is now, and inflation has been riding a roller coaster, constantly going up, raising the prices of everything we buy. And of course, on a fixed income, that is no joy. Now the next one, pensions. Pension gone. Now, many people don't have a pension, but there are still companies out there that offer pensions. But guess what? If a company gets in financial trouble, what is the first thing they do away with? Paying their pension funds. And so it's a little known fact, it should be a well-known fact actually, that if they get into any kind of trouble, that is the first thing that's going to disappear, is the pension. So you got to think about that. Next is a loss of a spouse. Now, you get tax implications because you're going from a joint tax return to a single. And many people are never prepared for that. And the next question along with that is, can you live on one income? Because you've lost your partner's income. And so, are you ready and prepared? What will that do to you? You should really kind of look into what the tax implications are. And then look at your finances and your budget and go, okay, maybe. So when you're planning, you really should be thinking about planning to live on one budget, one income, and then it makes it easier to enjoy your retirement with less worry. Divorce. Now, do you know the fact is that 1 in 4 people over 50 end up in divorce? I guess, is that because they suddenly woke up and realized they have to spend all their time with their significant other, and they don't necessarily like that person, or they can't get along, or they have so many more differences that they have changed over the years that staying together just isn't an option anymore. But it's a surprisingly high number. I'm a fortunate man. I love the woman I'm married to, and I'm not going to end up in that category. Although I have gone down the road before. I am on my 3rd wife, but finally got the right one. So, next up is your parents need help. And that is, for a lot of people, it's maybe due to health issues that they have to take care of their parents, whether it's finding some place for them to live that will take care of them, or possibly living in their home, or helping them out financially. So as people live longer, it becomes a scenario that people have to deal with that they sometimes they didn't think about, and weren't prepared for. So what do you do in retirement? What do you do to keep the boredom away? Do you have plans that will actively fill your time? For me, I do these YouTube videos. I love them. They're great. at least from my perspective. I love talking to people. I love giving, insight and advice. And if even one little bit of nugget helps somebody, then it was successful in my mind. Um, but what do you do with your time? And a lot of people do give thought to that, but there are a surprising amount of people that didn't and don't, and suddenly they have to find their way through retirement. And they got to keep the boredom away. So you don't want to eventually just become a couch potato. Make use of that time while you're young enough to go out and enjoy your time and your life and have fun with it. So before you get to the no-go years, we talk about the go-go years, the no-go years. You want to be prepared and have fun while you can. And have you planned for any long-term care? 54% of people have not. Now, this is a tough one because it's really hard to think about and, making use of how what you can do to get there in terms of taking care of that health care. There are long-term health care insurance policies. It's probably one of the most viable ways. People end up selling their house and using that money for long term. But if you have a spouse, they need a place to live. So there's always going to be situations that are going to present themselves as difficult to deal with. So have you thought about long-term care and what's your plans on it? So these are just some of the unplanned events that can happen during the time when you're retired. So let me know in the comments below what you think, what you may have experienced, or what your plans are. And I will see you in the next one.